Welcome back to Leading Indicator, everybody. My name is Zaid Admani, and on today's show, we have my man Gali. How you doing today, man?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, doing pretty good. On today's show, we're going to talk about Tesla, which is why I'm really excited to talk to you, Gali. You're an OG Tesla fan, OG Tesla bull, so you're the perfect
In my
person to talk to
Tesla.
today. In your Tesla, this is your authenticity right there. So you have a deep connection with the Tesla community. I, I wanted to talk about Elon Musk. Obviously, he's the main character of the Tesla universe, and I want to talk about his political involvement. A few months ago, I think a lot of people in the Tesla community were excited to hear that Elon was kind of stepping down from his Doge responsibilities, stepping down from the political involvement in the Trump administration. And then a few days ago, he kind of hops back in. He couldn't help himself. He hops back in, starting a new political party. Uh, What was your reaction when you heard that? What do you think the community's reaction was? And how do you think this impacts uh, the outlook for Tesla?
I mean, look, the stock was down that day. So you could
Yeah.
say, oh, everyone's bummed out, took a 6 or 7% hit. But then you could also say, well, the stock's up from just a few months ago when it was in the mid 200s or even a year ago when it was. So even if the company's actually done pretty well despite like all this kind of perceived drama in politics that's happened in the past 24 months, like the stock price has actually done great. So I would say first of all there's that. Second, Elon's always just going to be Elon. Like he's crazy. Like you get the crazy with the genius, and he fixates on things and like wants to fix them. And right now he's like hyper fixated on the American debt problem. How do we make our country more efficient? Tesla's become so big and powerful, and so have like SpaceX, and XAI, that like he's, for better or worse, involved in politics and just one of these like powerful people who run the world basically. And that comes with its crazy ups and downs, especially with, I feel like the media loves having a field day with Elon. So anything he does gets like magnified times a gazillion. But I don't know. I think there was a great quote from Palmer Luckey I saw recently that was like, you want like crazy investors who are going to stand by you like through all the BS. And I think that's like the camp I'm in, is like I've held Tesla stock for over a decade now. Like love the products, love the technology. I got this crazy out of control CEO who's all over the place, but he's actually the engineer genius who's responsible for all this value creation. And I love to be on this rocket ship, pun intended. But
Right.
you got to understand that the Tesla stock ride comes with these crazy, you know, volatile moments.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Tesla community, I think they're probably used to this point. But I do think there was a bit of like hope that okay, Elon's focused on Tesla, back to 100% focus on Tesla. He's leaving all the politics stuff behind, and then he kind of got pulled back in, which actually brings me to something really funny that happened this week on X when Wall Street analyst Dan Ives he posted the proposal that he thinks that the Tesla board how the Tesla board should proceed with handling Elon Musk. He recommended that Tesla have political oversight on Elon and then track his time at work. And then Elon had like the best reply where he's like, "Shut up, Dan." So obviously he's not a fan of that. He's not a fan of being babysat by the board. What do you think the board should do about Elon Musk? Like you said, the stock is doing better than it was before a month ago, but it is down year to date. Do you think the board should step in now, or is there a point where the board should step in and do something about Elon's antics?
Well, I mean, Elon hasn't been paid in I don't know how many years, 5 years at all for Tesla. So I think the number one priority for the board is, should we get Elon paid? But I also think like people whining about Elon like not doing enough at Tesla when he's literally not getting paid like anything. It's like, would you show up to work, Dan, if you didn't get paid for 5 years in a row? I don't think so. So, wouldn't be able to afford those bad outfits he's always rocking.
Yeah, dude, what's up with those suit jackets?
What's
I
up with
never
these
understood
things?
that.
Like he's all over the place. But anyway, no, I don't want to hate on him. But no, you can't tell Elon what to do. And I thought it was a little bit funny and just But I think if you're listening, for the investors out there, I think Wall Street analysts have been one step behind Tesla. I mean, that's actually generous. They've been 10 steps behind Tesla for years and years now, saying they were never going to be profitable, blah, 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 blah. And like, so if you're listening to what the Wall Street analysts say and the traditional media says about this company, like they've been wrong for a decade straight. And I think that's a way to kind of get a very misguided view on the company. Like, I don't know, like Elon's grinding at Tesla, he's trying to make it happen. This whole like theory that the board needs to step in and isn't happy and needs to change what's happening is total BS. Like the board isn't, they don't care. Like they're pumped on Elon, they're trying to pay him more. Like they're not going to set these rules. But
Do you think there's ever going to be a point where the board does get a little angsty, whether the stock price keeps falling, or the other thing that's happening now is threats from the president, where President Trump is like, "Hey, I'm going to take away Elon. I'm going to take away Elon's company's federal subsidies. This new big beautiful bill that just passed is going to get rid of the EV subsidies." So, I mean, do you think if that starts impacting Tesla in a meaningful way, if the stock price starts, starts falling more, do you think there's a point where the board will step in, or is it the board is like, hey, they're just gonna let Elon do his thing and have trust that he's gonna figure this all out?
I think the board is going to back him and give him trust. But the point you make is interesting about where we're at with Tesla right now, because the story's been so long about vehicle sales increasing, margin on those vehicle sales. Now it's switching to Robotaxi rides, like we were just talking about Austin before.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I was just in Austin, Robotaxi launch, boringly smooth almost. It's been going so well. So I think that's a super cool like thing that the company has going. But on the flip side, that's not justifying $1 trillion valuation. A couple $4 rides to influencers and slowly expanding isn't going to justify the trillion. So you have this period now where we have to investors will see how much leeway and trust they're able to give the company as they scale that robotaxi business. While in the meantime, their core business of vehicles is like flatlining, maybe declining. But I also think the
Right.
Robotaxi itself will be like 11. Like I've seen a ton of new Model Ys. They're all over like Seattle and stuff. But I think the Robotaxi itself will actually be a demand driver for the vehicle sales, because once people realize like, wait, like
Interesting.
I can buy a Robotaxi for like 50 G's, like I think it's gonna that could reignite some positivity in the story of like actually before Robotaxi rides even take off, they're like drive demand for revenue, and that will actually play a big factor.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I mean, Gali, you said that Tesla's EV business is flatlining. In fact, they just reported their Q2 delivery numbers, and it was down, I think, 14%. Uh, so EVs are starting to become. I think investors are hoping that EVs are probably going to become a smaller and smaller part of Tesla's overall business, and then other things take over, like robo taxis. There's the humanoid robots. I think you tweeted something out there about a drones. Tesla potentially launching drones. What makes you most excited about and optimistic about Tesla's future?
Well, like every time I go to Austin, I've gone to Austin for the past, since Tesla said they were moving there, and saw their factory was like this pile of dirt, and now it's like the second largest building in the world, pumping out like all these
Massive.
vehicles made in America. Like it's just hard to wrap your head around, like, Tesla, this entity of 100, this blob of 100 something thousand people in technology and factories, moves so fast. Like it blows my mind. Like I go there and it's a pile of dirt, and then a year later it's like a factory. Now 2 years later it's like one of the biggest car factories in America. It's like you do not want to stand in the way of this freight train. Like they have so all the technology they've developed, they've barely scratched the surface on monetizing. So that's what I'm focused on. Like the self-driving, my car self-drives itself. I've been self-driving all day today. They have barely scratched the surface on monetizing that opportunity worldwide. Like 0.000000001% of miles are self-driven in America. Soon it's going to be 50 to 100%. That might happen in only 5 to 10 years. Tesla's going to lead that tidal wave. That means we go from like hundreds of millions to like billions and trillions of value just from that business alone. Then you think about cars, where it's like, oh, the vehicle business is declining. It's like, maybe might be a transitionary period. They're going to bring costs down, and you got the semi truck that's going to unlock freight. We haven't even tapped into their whole decade long development of batteries, electric drivetrains to commercialize freight and trucking and tap into that market. So when I think about the long term, like, as a technology growth investor, like there's, yes, Tesla's worth $1 trillion now, but I think if you look at their product roadmap, it's so strong and they have so much technology in them to like monetize, that's what gets me super duper fired up about holding the stock. Is I'm like, whoa. Like, and I didn't even talk about the humanoid robot thing, which is like which is a
Yeah.
whole nother kind of like free call option you get, I'd say, by holding on to this company. And that program has progressed at insane speeds since they launched. Like Elon said they wanted to sell bots in 2027, in 2020 or 2021 when they launched Robot, right? But then now it's actually on sale, track for like 2026. When has Elon been ahead of schedule? Like Optimus is moving ahead. So anyway, that was my quick rant, but that's why I'm, despite kind of all this Elon blah 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 drama, like focusing on the fundamentals and the technology, like seeing a ton of potential.
Do you see, the threat of Waymo's making a lot of headlines pretty much weekly at this point, right? They just recently announced that they're expanding or starting the test in Philadelphia and New York City. They've launched in Atlanta, in Austin. They have hundreds of thousands of cars at this point. Is that does that give you pause at all that Waymo might just come and dominate the self-driving part of the whole thing, and Tesla might not reach the scale before Waymo takes the whole pie?
Waymo's problem is that their vehicle costs 150 G's though. Tesla can build theirs for
Mm-hmm.
30,000, maybe less with the Cybercab. Like that's just a super uphill battle. And like Waymo's like like it's like what are the incentives of Waymo? It's like two co-CEOs. Like they launched in Austin in the Uber app. You can't even call a Waymo. You have to like try and get one in the Uber app. It's like how did you fumble the bag on the
Yeah.
dopest technology that's been invented, the self-driving car? You have them driving around. And then you decide actually, let's make it so everyone who wants to pay us for this crazy new technology we spent a decade commercializing can't even pay us for it. They just have to take a gamble and maybe get the shitty service that we're disrupting every time they try and pay us. It's like so dumb. So, I think the cost, there's three factors to think about here. Cost of the vehicle, Tesla's got them beat by like 5 or 6x, like 150 to like 30 G's. That's almost insurmountable alone. Second, pace of innovation. Tesla just moves quicker and like is more of a kind of lean company, and I think that like that really matters in terms of the competitiveness. And then the third is just leadership and incentives. Like I just feel like Waymo's an amazing company, and I'm actually bullish on Waymo and Tesla. Like it's not like so many people are getting, oh, Waymo Tesla. It's like okay, Waymo and Tesla, that whole stat of like 0% of miles driven are self-driving going to 50%. That's Waymo. That's Tesla. And maybe Uber's in a good place. They help you pick a self-driving car, or you want to take a Lime scooter, or you want to take the bus. Like Uber, everyone's talking about Uber, Waymo, Tesla. I'm like, those are the three companies who are in the best position right now. Like everyone else is
Yeah.
toast. This whole ecosystem of buying a car, fixing it, gas stations, like that's what's kind of toast.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I mean, what I mean, it's going to be an interesting battle over the next few years. But yeah, I mean, both these companies are. I mean, I was happy to see that Tesla launched in Austin. I'm going to try to make a trip over to Austin, hopefully soon once they open it up to more people, and try it
Nice.
out myself. And then Waymo, like I said, they're expanding to new cities. It seems like weekly and monthly at this point. And then I want to go back to something that you tweeted this week about Tesla launching a drone program. So tell me what you're seeing there, because that's the first time I've ever heard someone talk about Tesla launching
So it's been
drones.
kind of a little teeny tiny rumor, I'd say, that's been bubbling up in the Tesla community of like, Adam Jonas from Morgan Stanley put out a note like, whoa, Tesla could build drones. They have the batteries, they have the motors, like they have the mass manufacturing capability. Like this is an obvious drone play, like big drones that carry things, kind of logistics and delivery. Then there's also military drones. And then Elon has been tweeting nonstop, even recently, and Naval about the US and the West's drone building capabilities versus China's, how that's a big strategic national security concern. So we want to invest in our drone building.
Hmm.
So it's like, okay, well, now, but Elon has said he doesn't really want to do weapons, but everyone's looking at it like Elon keeps shouting, we need more drones, we need more drones. And everyone's like looking at it's like, well, SpaceX and Tesla are the best US companies to build those, or maybe Anduril, throw that in there. So I don't really think they'll do it, and I feel kind of weird about the whole military drone thing, but I don't know. It's an interesting angle. It's like, what else can Tesla do with all their technology beyond cars and robots? I almost think it's a fascinating thought exercise of like this idea that like everything's a robot, everything's computer, it's all run by software, and you have to build out these new hardware form factors to like utilize it. It's like Tesla's on the cutting edge of that. It's not just going to be Robotaxi. It's not just going to be bot. Like There could be a flying robot. Like they build robots that walk, they build robots that drive. Let's build robots that fly, robots that swim. Like those are probably on the agenda item eventually, you know? So I don't know. It's just a rumor. Oh,
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting rumor, and I wasn't sure if it was more of like a military angle, or if it's more of like a. Obviously, I don't know if the consumer drone market is big enough for Elon to chase. I mean, you have DJI dominating that here in the U.S., potentially facing sanctions. So, that's probably not big
yeah.
enough for Tesla to chase. But yeah, I mean, obviously, the military use case for it is. I mean, that's kind of changed warfare over the last 3 4 years. So that was an interesting tweet that I saw. I'll wrap with this. I mean, so now that Tesla is they've got some good things going. They got the Robotaxi program going. The Robo cabs are in development. We've seen a prototype. What do you see? How do you see the next uh 4 5 years of playing out? The rest of the decade for Tesla. Obviously, what are you most bullish about? And do you think at any point in this decade, either Elon walks away from Tesla or gets forced out?
Wow.
So that's how I'm gonna. Yeah, I mean, I know I'm hitting you with a lot there, but just
I mean, I
gut
think
feeling.
we're in very uncharted waters now for Tesla because it's a startup. Like it's valued on robotaxis and Optimus. That's why people are buying the stock, but neither of those are generating revenue yet, or barely any. So if those succeed, I think we have the world's largest market cap company, and we have robo taxis everywhere. We have these bots walking around. Like it's gonna look and feel like the future. Like it's gonna feel different than how we live now. And like the phone, which has been kind of our only robot, like robots are coming out of our phone and gonna be all around the real world. That's gonna be a big weird change. So I think there could be some societal pushback, honestly, when robots start walking around everywhere, but it's gonna happen. So I feel like there's like I'm getting glimpses when I think 5 years from now of like this crazy future utopia of like these crazy cybercabs driving around and like these robots walking around, Tesla being worth 10 trillion, maybe more, who knows. So that's the future I'm holding on for. As far as Elon goes, I mean, he's got decades left of scheming and running his empire and crushing it with all these crazy products. Will Tesla keep his attention? I think the biggest thing in the next four to
Right.
5 years that will actually determine everything I just said is whether we get Elon paid or not. If we can't pay Elon Musk, then he won't be our
Mm.
employee, and then all these things I'm talking about are going to go away. But if Elon gets paid and he's on board, then he might stay on for another decade, another 2 or 3 decades. So I think that is why that is such an important, like, you're honestly making me realize it. Like, that is really an important thing of like where Tesla goes from here. Like, and as much as we're talking about Elon Musk is crazy, when's the board going to kick him out? It's like you talk to real investors. It's like I'm only in this thing because Elon Musk is running it. The second they take Elon Musk away, I'm done. Like
Mm.
that's what it's so ironic that like the media frames it as like Tesla investors hate Elon or like they're so fed up with him when in reality it's like the polar opposite. It's like that's why we own the stock because it's like whatever this guy cooks up next.
Well, that was a thought experiment that I would do with my friends. Is like, let's just say, like, in a fantasy world, tomorrow we get a headline, Bloomberg, Elon steps down from as a CEO of Tesla. Does the stock go down or does it go up? And that's an interesting thought experiment because there's probably some people that think the stock would go up, whereas
Yeah.
maybe others
The
think the
people
stock
who
would
think
drop
this,
double
the
digits.
people who
I
think
I,
the
I don't
stock
know.
would go up, I bet don't own Tesla stock, and I would say don't understand it, because I I can dude if Elon Musk steps down or something happens to him, the stock's down like 40% overnight, maybe more, 30%. Like
Jeez.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean
and it's in the SEC
it's an
filings. Like
interesting
he's key man. Like actually, I haven't even read the filings, but I'm
key
like
man risk. Yeah.
99. He's the definition of key man risk, and that's like what you want in a company. A CEO that's so good that if he dies, we're screwed. Because if we have him, we're so good that we're like he's Michael Jordan. So like if you don't have a key man, it means your leader is mids. Oh, we could just lose him and get a new guy and still be crushing it. It's like, all right, well, he's not that good. So, you know what I mean? So, uh, I don't know. It's gonna be a fun ride
Yeah.
for sure. I don't know what'll happen exactly, but I know it'll be entertaining.
Well, I appreciate you hopping on. Like I said, you're an OG. You've been following the stock forever. You're in your Tesla right now, traveling the country. So I appreciate you hopping on, giving us your thoughts, and giving us an inside look of what the Tesla community, thinks about the stock, thinks about Elon, and thinks about where the future is headed. So appreciate you being
Yeah,
on
thanks for having me.
today,
It's a
Gali.
lot of fun. Love scheming on Tesla. So